The opinions expressed in the following are those of its participants and do not necessarily reflect those of the producers and the Six Talk Podcast Network. Also, the following contains mature material and mild language, which may not be suitable for all audiences. Discretion is advised.
Well, here we go, our first episode finally of the new year on this Wednesday evening, January the 29th, 2020.
2020!
Woohoo! This is Anime Roundtable version 2.0, episode number 16 of the Six Talk era. Thanks for listening. If you have any comments or questions or flames, because hate mail is fun sometimes, you can hit us up on the socials. We're on Twitter at Anime Roundtable, all one word.
Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram too, at Anime Roundtable. I was happy to get that one.
Yeah.
Does it even get updated?
Hardly.
I mean, once every year, 2 years.
It's bad that I have to ask that.
Yeah, once every couple of years. I think there's a picture of the Sharmarke.
We'll post one here.
Maybe. AnimeRoundtable.com.
Yep, you got it.
Are still to be
trust the
updated.
URL. That's your retirement plan right there. I guarantee you in like 20 years,
it'll still be there.
Yeah.
It'll still be there. And of course, if you want to go old school, because email is old school now in this day and age, animeroundtable@gmail.com.
It's kind of hard to slide into your emails, Mm-hmm. Gotta slide into those DMs.
This is kind of an improvised episode. We didn't hook up the microphones, the elaborate set that we usually do.
Yeah, no mixer.
No mixer. We just hooked up the Yeti mic that we used during the Fred Schodt interview.
And I'm assuming it's been tested.
It should be fine.
Oh damn! What if this is not recording?
Well, let's see. Should be. We put this in the omnidirectional look. Yes, we did. Okay, so
but now our voices sound omnidirectional.
Yeah. Once around the table, Mike Nicolas, James Austin, Kevin Ng, and guess who's here? Mohamed Sharmarke's finally here.
I'm back!
After a couple months.
We found him.
Yeah. So, where do we start? It's been 3 months since we've taped, and this is Mo's first appearance in like 4 or 5. I did notice, though, Mo is wearing a toque.
Yes.
He's wearing a toque with the Bell Let's Talk Day logos on it. Today is Bell Let's Talk Day up here in Canada.
10th anniversary.
The 10th anniversary. What is Let's Talk Day, you're asking, to our non-Canadian listeners out there? It's an initiative that Bell started 10 years ago, obviously, and it is meant to put a bigger spotlight on mental health issues. We know, many of us here know people who suffer from various mental health issues, depression being the most noteworthy. And Mo works for the Canadian Mental Health Association as
a web developer.
He works on their website.
Yes.
And he was featured in this year's commercials.
So Bell partnered with a bunch of mental health organizations like Jack.org, and we got chosen. It came down in November, and shot a commercial for the whole day. And you could see me for approximately half a nanosecond, guys.
Well, yeah, we saw the commercial. We'll put it online, and we're not going to tell you where he is in the commercial. You'll just have to find him yourself.
Hint, I'm the first thing you see when you look up my page.
On the YouTube, yes. So
they got the best side, Mo, don't worry.
They got a good look. And you'll actually look quite professional. Yeah, and more mature than... it's the most mature I've ever seen you look.
I will say I am wearing makeup in that shot. They put makeup on me.
But you looked really mature in that shot.
Lighting and stuff, the whole thing.
Older.
The HD, the 4K gives that extra oomph, and now you can't hide it.
Nope, can't hide it.
Okay. But welcome back. Thanks. So and to celebrate, he actually brought ramune.
Drinks. I brought drinks.
He brought ramune sodas. We made it a point to open them before we started taping, so we wouldn't have the adventure of trying to open them. Unfortunately, you're going to hear us put them down on the table in this improvised studio we made today.
So I gotta ask you, Mohamed.
Sure.
On your personal Instagram account,
right.
you posted the advertisement,
right?
And you did 3 posts because the video lasted that long.
Right.
Does Bell donate 5 cents for each time they do that, or do they only do 5 cents for one?
You know, that's a great question. And I would like to answer that question, you know, with the answer that would be the right answer for that question.
Which is?
But seeing as I don't work for Bell, I have no idea what that answer is.
Because here's what I've always wondered.
Sure.
If I felt like it,
Mm-hmm.
and I've done this once before when I felt compelled to one year,
Right on.
I would post random things on my Facebook account and would tag Bell Let's Talk.
Hashtag Bell Let's Talk.
Yeah, #, hashtag, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
We're hashtag one. We're hashtag one.
because I'm thinking, yeah, you know, I'll do my part and make Bell donate like 50 cents or $1 or however long I can withstand doing that without getting frustrated or bored. But I would hope that they would actually donate 5 cents every time.
So, good thing about that is they have a live counter on their website that tells you exactly how many people have done impressions. That's what they call it, impressions. Across all the social media.
That is cute.
Across all the social media.
I would hope that they would, because if they don't, that is ridiculous.
Oh, look at that. 126 million impressions.
Multiply that by what? 5 cents.
Yeah.
Get the calculator out, kids. I'm not doing it right now. That was cool to see, and it's a still. Look, go ahead.
I was gonna say no. It's a nationwide ad campaign. So you saw 1.5 seconds of my side face in movie theaters, and you know, everywhere. It's pretty cool.
It was cool, and it's a really well done initiative, a worthwhile initiative, because, like as I said, we know a few people who suffer from some version of mental illness. So, and there's a stigma.
Oh, 100%.
There's a stigma there. So, any help we can do just to start a conversation. Let's talk. There it is. And the thing is, we're still learning, and even the most sympathetic of us really don't know how to help out too. But I think, as I said, let's just start a conversation and then learn along the way. I think that's a good way to start.
Absolutely.
Okay, so as I said, it's been a couple months. A little bit. I guess we kind of have to harp on the usual stuff that we have harped on in the last year, or since the Six Talk era started, since we brought back the show, and that means more Makoto Shinkai talk. But it's the first time Mohamed's been here since TIFF, and you two kind of raved about what he did for you guys to get you to see Makoto Shinkai's North American appearance there, and the North American premiere of Weathering with You at TIFF.
Right behind him.
Right.
No, but they cut Tiff out of the interview.
It's funny how
we'll talk about that in a second.
You were trying to wrangle us together to do the episode, and then you couldn't make it.
That's true. That's true. That's
It's
true.
like, I want to give my impressions. You had 2 chances.
You know,
Third time it's good.
Well, is there anything you want to add to this? Add to the story as we've told it already, or is there something you want to say about it before we really get into a little bit more of the Shinkai talk?
I mean, no. I mean, I'm just glad that it's being shown publicly now, and not just in a limited run. You know, not
A little bit more.
Not just 1 and 2 days. It's literally been showed for like what, 2 weeks now, 3 weeks now,
Yeah, something like that.
been
Yeah.
in like a dozen theaters.
It's been like a couple weeks almost.
Yeah,
And it
it's
was
been
their
a little more than
biggest
2 weeks.
release for G-Kids of all their films to date.
Ah, yes. Let's
And
talk.
that's ahead of Marie the Witch.
I'm curious.
Well, of
Let's
course it would
talk
be
a
higher
little
than
bit
Marion,
more.
which is Flower.
Let's
But
talk
the
about.
other thing was they had the 2-day premiere too, and those 2 days
Yeah.
they were number 2
15,
in North
16.
America, which is crazy for an anime movie to be number 2, even though it was Wednesday and Thursday, right? So
I mean, let's talk. I'm curious. Like, let's talk a little more G-Kids a bit later on. As noted, there has been a, how would you call it, limited release, I guess, of Weathering with You in North America. It has been shown in about roughly half a dozen theaters in the GTHA, the Greater Toronto and Hamilton area.
At like amazing times too.
And lots of good options. Actually, initially, it was both the sub and dub version Now you can't really find
the dub.
You can't really find the dub.
Which is interesting. Like, they've done things where they have the special and then they do the general release, but they usually have sub and dub. But this time we've seen more of the sub than the dub for the general release, which is interesting. Like, the Ghibli movies, we've seen both, and it's like they'd alternate between dub and sub for the showings. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so that's interesting.
I mean, looking through the listings myself the day I went to see it, and we've all seen it. We've all seen this current run.
And it's not like they didn't have the dub because the theaters had the dub.
They did.
You know what I mean? And they were showing the same version because Mike was telling me they had the same interview that I saw in the limited run.
Okay,
chances are more anime fans would be going to see Weathering with You, whereas Ghibli is definitely more of a mass market appeal. Mm-hmm. It's why I haven't seen Ponyo in Japanese. Because every time they rerun Ponyo, they always play it in English.
Oh, you have your chance to. Oh wait, you don't download it. Not.
They'll have a Ghibli fest with the sub. I'm sure.
We'll talk about that a bit.
Yeah,
later,
I'm
too.
not subscribing to HBO Max just for that.
No.
Yeah.
Ghibli Fest is in the movie theaters where each year they have different Ghibli films they've been showing in theaters.
So it hasn't been the same since Cineplex took it over. But in any case,
yeah,
I think it's a G Kids initiative because they do it across North America, including with Cineplex.
As I said, I'm kind of impressed with this. So the movie itself. First of all, we all have seen it, but we all saw it separately at different points over the last couple weeks.
Yep.
Yes.
For reference, I saw it a morning screening at Colossus.
So did I. 11 o'clock at Vaughn.
Yes.
Look at that.
Which what day?
Oh man, Thursday.
Okay, I saw it on a Tuesday myself because I had a day off.
It's so convenient.
last week I went to go see it. It was the 9:50 screening
Yeah, nighttime.
at the Winston Churchill Theater
Damn.
on Thursday night.
And you saw it at Winston Churchill too, didn't you, James?
Yeah, I
'Cause you're
saw it the
both in
first
Mississauga.
day, the dubbed version at 10 p.m. So, and that was still a fair number of people there to see the dub and stuff like that. It was interesting the reactions we got for, especially even the cameos from the previous film, Your Name. Like,
that's a small spoiler right there. No, that doesn't tell you too much. And the thing is,
he does that cameos for on his films and stuff like
it's
that.
the first time I noticed it. Yeah, like,
but
the
people, they let you know.
to
Like, it's like, trust me, you knew when it got there, and it was funny. I think we had it in the TIFF audience, but it wasn't as prominent as when I was in. And maybe it's because we had less people in a smaller theater. You know what I mean?
I do. But I feel like the people who are watching Weathering with You now versus people who are watching it at TIFF. I think the people who are watching it now are quasi better anime fans.
Yeah, I think, that's what I know. I think you're right.
What do you mean by that?
No, I think the thing is, okay. First of all, let's backtrack for a second.
You're saying Makoto Shinkai is going to have the same reaction to his film.
No, I think that's a fair. This might be a fair point because you have, like, at TIFF, you had just general moviegoers.
Yeah.
Whereas during the screenings,
it's pure
I think
fans.
you had a little bit more diehards.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair. So I think of that as probably a fair statement.
Like when I saw a premiere with this guy here, Kevin, and the audience there was just
into it. Whew. Oh no, that
yeah, I remember that.
When I saw
it,
the same thing, and we saw the dub. When I saw Your Name. Oh no, not Your Name. When I saw. No, Weathering with You.
Oh, Weathering.
When I saw Weathering with You, we're gonna get all these titles mixed up in the next little bit.
Well, there were so many movies, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Isn't that great that there's more movies now?
That's an interesting thought. As I said,
that's hope for the future, right?
Let's get to that a bit later on.
Sure.
Like, I only saw it with at most about a dozen people in the theater because it was an early morning.
True.
It would have been. And this is the magic of sometimes of going to a movie theater, seeing it with a crowd who could really get into it, and it sounded like that was the case with James and Kevin when they went to see it in the theaters.
I think I was in the same boat as you. Like 6 people were there, maybe less.
Mine was considerably smaller.
No, I had quite a few in that one, and then some of the others I went to a very late premiere screening for the Redux, and that had a lot of people. That was like 10:15 or something like that, and that was crazy because it had this short before it. And so it confused the hell out of people. You have a 15-minute short, and it's like, the movie's over already?
Oh,
and then, we had the movie, and then I'm like, I don't remember this at all.
I went with Mohamed, but it screened too early. I couldn't get out of work that early.
Okay.
So I missed.
He got just as it ended and the movie was starting is when he shut up. It was hilarious.
Oh.
And we had like crappy seats because I'd forgotten to like.
Forgot I was coming.
No, not that. Like I mean.
You wasted all your life on tip when you got us those great seats behind Shinkai. That's what you did.
Oh man, it's
like life. It evens
I knew I was
itself
going to
out.
miss that short anyway, but I'll likely buy the Blu-ray anyway.
I'm sure it'll be on the Blu-ray.
It's a great
That's Promare as far as I'm concerned.
I'm surprised
Tour
they
de
even keep
force.
showing it. They should keep showing it. They should.
Well,
keep
they
showing it.
supposedly kept on showing it in Japan. Like the Blu-ray isn't out for that one yet either.
Well, here's
The thing is, what was it? The 4DX. They were doing in the States for that one, which would have been interesting. And now they're doing Weathering with You 4DX.
Yep,
supposedly.
they are,
I don't
they are.
think they're doing it in Canada, but those would be interesting. Both of those would be interesting in 4DX.
anyway, let's.
I can't watch it a third time.
I've seen it
Or whether-
right now anyway.
Well, both actually.
Well,
But
right
you'll
now.
have like the
Wait,
full
I was
on
gonna say-
feeling, you know what I mean? The rain, wind, water.
Premiere in like 4DX, like real fire. Come on.
Maybe if it happens to be on a Tuesday, I'll think about it.
Okay. Well, the thing was, what was interesting to me, and I was looking at tickets here locally, especially that first night when it premiered.
Yep.
There were a lot of sellouts. I saw quite a lot.
Yeah, there were tons
yeah.
of sellouts.
Because everyone assumed that it was going to be just a 2-day premiere, right? No other screens were announced. Nothing.
But I thought
for
they
the
said
release.
a general release after. They always said that, so I assumed okay, they'll probably have the same for Canada. Like
I was
things,
happy
but
that I had that
intrigued
chance a few
that
days
they
later.
went beyond a week. That we're into week 2 and hopefully maybe another week. But that's the surprise. I thought maybe it'd be 1 week after the 2.
I remember when the tickets first came out. I remember messaging all you guys going, "Hey, it's finally out. Get your tickets now. They're going to sell out," and they sold out. So yeah.
So, well, what do we want to say about the movie itself without really spoiling anything right now?
Good movie. Go watch it.
First things first, yeah. Would you want to, would you recommend it? Let's start with that.
100%.
Yes, just don't watch Your Name right before watching this one.
Yeah, don't do that. Watch afterwards.
Okay, no, tell me, do you want to elaborate on that one or not?
Because the way the film is structured, in terms of how it begins, how it goes through the life of these two characters, with the Radwimp song going partway through.
Are we talking Your Name or Weathering?
Both.
Oh man, it's the exact same thing.
The moment when shit gets real, all the way to the end, the formula is the same, and that's fine
yeah, it's a working formula.
because it works. But would I say it's just as good as Your Name? Sure. But at the same time, you're thinking,
Where have I seen this before?
exactly. And
But have you seen a man saved by a Big Mac in a Shinkai film before, Kevin?
That's true.
no,
We're talking Big Macs. Cool.
McDonald's definitely put some money into that.
Well, some other people in both films.
Because here's the thing, Forever 21 was censored. McDonald's was not.
And Forever 21 just went down.
Maybe that's why it's like
No, it was strange. Okay, James.
They didn't put money
James,
into
your thought.
funding.
Yes, okay, your recommendation. What would you say about, would you see it? What would you want to say without spoiling anything?
It was a Shinkai film. I would say that. It was interesting watching and seeing the interview after. We learned a little more than what we talked about.
And we'll
from
talk
Tip,
about that in a few seconds.
stuff
actually.
like that.
Yes.
And so it was interesting to see where they were coming from, and even from the interview perspective. And there were certain things that you watch the movie, and I know they talk about global warming and all this other stuff, but it's what we've talked about before. It wasn't in my mind about that. It was about that internal choice the characters had to make and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But that's all I can say. And it was choices, and the choices were throughout the movie. That's all I can say. You know what I mean?
My thought is, okay, it's gonna be a mix of all of you guys. Yes, I would say if you love Shinkai stuff, if you fell in love with past works, it's worth the watch. But to me, like, how different was it going to be from his past works?
Not really.
That's the thing. That's the issue I'm beginning to have. Like, I mean, Angela kind of said that 10 years ago to us after 5 centimeters.
This issue has been here since Children Who Chase Lost Voices. I would say.
Okay, I would have said 5 centimeters.
See, the
that's
twist,
where it started to get there.
the distinction with 5 centimeters is that, how do I put it? You know what? I don't know where I was going to go with that, but you can tell he definitely refined.
He keeps refining.
He refined,
that.
he refined it
He
really
refined
at
it from
that point.
voices because it's essentially a better version of voices in a sense.
He refined. Yeah, every version is a refinement. And have we hit peak Shinkai? I guess we'll talk about that.
You can argue that Your Name is different from the rest in certain ways, and even with Weathering with You, you can say that it was a little grittier at moments.
Yeah, we talked about more realism in the scenes and everything came a lot more than
that's
previous.
that's actually an interesting point. Actually, I like that point.
See, I would have wanted to see more of the grittier side of Japan and how certain people deal with homelessness, or maybe we could have seen more about what those sky dragons and sky whales and skyfish were, but they're just kind of there.
That would have been nice.
They were the background, yeah, in a way. They, like you saw them.
The fortune teller in the beginning prophesized the whole movie.
Oh, that was well done.
yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
Because I didn't really catch that the first time around, but
Oh, you didn't? Oh.
because right when he becomes employed, more or less, like he followed the woman to an interview.
Oh, yeah,
with
we
the
can't
fortune
even
teller,
say that.
and whatever. The fortune teller talks about and he talks about like the sunshine girl.
Yeah, the sunshine.
God.
Oh man, are we still gonna
I-
go
I
there
already made
after?
that
We
joke.
just...
Huh?
For reference, I've already made that joke. So in Toronto.
And remember, he was talking about Sunshine Girl and boys. There's a guy.
God,
People are holding.
Holy
people are-
shit, guy! I wasn't even thinking about that. Oh,
We were joking about that. The thing, and we said we had to hold it in. It's like a lot of people probably did. Oh boy.
It was, but yeah, as I said, I recommend it. I thought it was great, but I'm a sucker for Shinkai movies.
the pressure's on for him now. I feel like perhaps he feels the need to keep on one-upping himself, and that's not realistic.
I think it's okay to try anyway,
True.
as an artist.
Oh, for sure. But
And
sometimes directors only have like 1 or 2 or 3 great movies in them anyway.
Yeah. Then
But he definitely has.
So you think
that
definitely has?
the wave behind him, and he talked about it in the one interview about how with Your Name, it kind of coincided with a lot of the Ghibli workers and stuff like that being let go as they were scaling down, and he had that wave. And then he said with this film, he had all those other people that were inspired by that and previous things come, and it kind of like propels him and stuff like that. And the people that were in the original voices, like background and all that stuff, were taking that senior role. It's like this group coming together and perfecting it and going after it. You know what I mean?
He needs a life-changing event to happen to him. Like maybe he needs to have a child with his wife. Or
He doesn't have
maybe-
kids.
I thought he had
did
kids.
have-
Does he have kids?
Does he have kids? I thought he
But
might.
sometimes
Let's go to Wikipedia.
But that doesn't always.
let me
but,
know, Mo.
But
Thank
that
you.
doesn't always work out if you look at Mamoru Oshii's
I was gonna
recent
say-
output.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my thought.
I was thinking Hosada too,
46
because
years old.
remember.
Oh, sorry, I meant
thought you were
Mamoru.
thinking-
I meant
thought you were
Mamoru Hosoda.
I thought you were thinking Hosoda. because
Everyone's favorite furry director.
His
and
daughter.
he has a daughter.
Okay, see. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Who has her own Google search results, images of her and a dog.
that is hilarious.
Not sure how I
That
would
is
feel about
awesome.
that.
I was gonna say, is she like an actress or something? Like, what's going on? She's only 9.
No, well, that's the thing. At 9, there's a degree of awareness already.
There.
She has an IMDb page.
Oh, really? Okay.
I get the feeling she's
She might have done a.
she's
guest
probably
voice,
done she's probably done some sort of shock publicity in some
6
form.
different movies, roles, TV shows,
Okay,
all live action stuff.
there you go. That's all we need to know now. So
why didn't he like promote her or something? Like mention that his kid is in like a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, why would he want?
why
to?
would he?
Why would he
you know
want to?
why? Why would he want to do that? I think
We'll have Will and Jaden all over again. Do you really want that?
Wow, good one, good one. Okay, so that's
But to be fair, Jaden has made a name for himself since.
yeah. Okay,
No, really.
I believe you. It's just I don't keep up. That's a problem.
We just pretend After Earth doesn't exist.
True. After that, Will Smith was golden. Everything he touched was just... He became a genie for crying out loud. Come on.
Okay, so I guess that's as much as we'll say on Weathering With You. The other aspect to this, to the screening, and I guess it'll be on the Blu-ray too whenever it comes out. Yes, the interviews. The Makoto Shinkai interview that was shown after the movie.
I'm not sure, because some of those special things with the theaters have made it on to Blu-rays, and some of them I know from G-Kids and other ones haven't, I feel like.
I hope it. I really...
The Aniplex ones I saw recently, those theater bits made it in, which is great, because I was watching Will You Eat My Pancreas and stuff like that, which was very interesting.
Will You Eat My Pancreas?
Oh, I have the light novel over there.
Oh, yeah.
And I know the upshot of it. That's why I bought it. And and just quickly on the topic of light novels, I know there's a light novel based on this movie, and I wish I had it, but I guess I'll get it at some other point.
It was a very quick release because they kind of said, "Oh, it's coming out in December," and that's what happened. But it's interesting with everyone, and it seems Makoto Shinkai did that as well. And he did it with his previous movies and stuff like that, which is interesting. You know what I mean?
A lot of his previous movies have had a light novel adaptation.
Oh, yeah.
That he kind of works on massages, probably similar but different to the script. You know what I mean? Like, probably more for readability.
Sometimes, the 5 centimeters manga goes more in depth with the third arc.
There was one I just got recently. It was from Kodansha. Like, it's 5 centimeters light novel stories and stuff like that, and it looks at different aspects, I guess, of the movie and stuff like that. I forget what they call it.
I think I may have it. We'll see. Anyway, I've brought that up, but the interview came up, and it was like a 10-minute piece after the movie, roughly 10 minutes, I think.
Yeah, and they did tell you before, please stay after the film.
No.
It's interesting because some people do get up and leave before, you know what I mean?
Which is better than what they did for premiere with the after movie stuff for that.
They still had the after movie stuff. It's just they put that short at the beginning, which was very confusing to some people, and even confusing to people who had already seen it, because we're like... No, it does make sense because it was more of a prologue than anything else. So it would make more sense to put it at the beginning. But I was kind of like, "What is this?" And then it kind of dawns on you.
Anybody who's seen a Pokemon movie in theaters would know they usually play the short Pikachu film right before the actual movie.
True.
Mm-hmm. But you never know. They were promoting as like an extra, right? So you never know. They might have just said, we'll throw it.
I thought it might have been like the pilot to TV show or something.
Are they really going to charge you $14 for a 15-minute movie? Come on, guys.
Probably not. I don't know. But anyway, it was
Cineplex. One can dream, right?
Well, Cineplex can certainly do
No, not me.
Well, whoever owns Cineplex now. Right?
Cineplex is owned by some British company now, so I don't know if they might...
Oh, yeah, that's another story altogether.
But I'll say one thing as well. In that interview, Shinkai knows he has to change it up. He admitted that in the interview.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he talked about how rim wraps actually came into the picture and stuff like that more than what we learned at TIFF and stuff like that, which was interesting. And the discussion, as we were saying...
Oh, yeah, let's go with that. Yeah, like there are a bunch of points that stuck out to me. I think I have at least 5 things that stuck out to me. You talked about Ghibli animators.
How the staff kind of developed over time, which is something we didn't hear as much about in TIFF and stuff like that. There was a lot of interesting things. I guess there was nothing interesting at TIFF because we didn't see any TIFF. I looked at where they got all the footage.
The other interesting point was for the cameos. He said that when that happened, it was right before they reunited at the end of your
Wait, I thought that was a spoiler there. You get me sick.
It's not about the actual story.
We're talking about... Well, we're not talking about
previous...
If you haven't watched it by now, like, come on.
Basically, the timeline takes place... The timeline of Weathering With You takes place in the middle of... Let's say in the middle of the Your Name story. Good enough?
Sure.
Okay. Ghibli animators going to Comics. I guess it's Comics, the production company, and I guess that's also the way the economics have gone in the last little while. The thing that also caught me was he really focused on how big and I guess rightfully, Your Name was the work. I think he considers that his masterpiece because it sounds like he makes constant references to how much your name has changed.
That's his current magnum opus.
That's a good way to put it.
Even though
he's had a lot of like works that I personally enjoyed.
Even though I still think 5 centimeters is the better film.
I think you can make that argument. It's just I'm not totally sure. Like as I said, we talked about refining. That's sort of what happened, and that's the difference I see between 5cm and Your Name.
The other
thing is,
the execution's different for Your Name in a sense.
Yeah, it's one work, whereas 5 centimeters, you have 3 separate chapters. In the way it was structured, a lot of movie audiences, I don't think, go for that as much. You know what I mean? Where they have those 3 separate kind of episodes instead of a free-flowing story throughout, you know what I mean, that they can go through and follow.
To me, it was more of a case of, okay, this is where he solidified his style. 5cm was where he solidified the style, and then that's where the refining happens. But Shinkai seems to focus like more on Your Name being that moment, in terms of maybe not necessarily solidifying his style, but solidifying his presence mainstream-wise.
I also this is a critique where I got tired of the build-up of and then our story began and this is what we did that day and then just launches into a fucking Radwimps song.
Oh, that was great.
It was not always a Radwimps song, but the way that they do that and they just played the whole song while they ran around and did stuff. Like I got tired of that.
True.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say the other thing is the Shinkai moment. You're hoping for a new way to end the movie.
It's sort of
like that. Maybe.
Actually, now that you bring it up, it's sort of to me like it's almost becoming obligatory to have a Radwimps montage of some sort. It's kind of like
the delivery montage.
It's kind of like in the 90s, every romance movie had a Celine Dion song.
Like 1 or 2 of those are fine. Don't have 5.
Oh,
but it's weird because he only collaborated with them 1 movie ago. Think about
and
that.
now they're best friends.
No, actually, that is a fair point. As much as we like to joke about that, because that came up in the interview too. I forgot the lead singer's name, but Shinkai talks about
giving him the scripts and stuff like that,
and
then he sent back songs,
and then he turned out 2 songs right off the bat.
Yes,
and then basically those 2 songs told Shinkai, yes, this is worth making.
Yeah, it ignited his creativity. Yes, it feels like.
And then he said at the end of it, there was no basically the music was finished before the movie itself was done. They had made all the music, the entire soundtrack was. They added no other music to the movie. All the music was done before the movie itself, basically, and not so many words. And this is a weird, I wouldn't say weird, but it certainly has your attention that Radwimps seemingly has that type of influence now.
Yeah.
Or it can certainly, music's a thing. Music is that's stating the obvious. It's just this is another level to me, as I could tell. Mm-hmm. And maybe, and as I said, this is a short. We don't intend to be too long tonight, and maybe this is worth elaborating on at another point when we talk Shinkai again, which could be next episode. but when we talk about, or when we have another larger talk about music, about soundtracks and stuff, it caught my attention how much Shinkai brought up Radwimps in their involvement in this. Mm-hmm. And
they're crucial to the movie.
Yeah, it's just weird. Remember in the Promare in the Promare interview, they kind of talked about Hiroyuki Sawano, who composed the music.
And they talked about the music and how it pumped them up and kept them going. And it was interesting.
There's
some interesting player roles in that interview where you hear that it's about the music and saying, I want to listen to this while I'm actually making, and he was like, that's not normally the case.
Yeah, but then, Sawano and Radwimps, they had their influences in those respective works. It's just that the Radwimps one just sticks out to me as a little interesting. I wouldn't say odd or anything like that, because art is always odd in some form. There's always a certain oddity when it comes to those things. But this just caught my attention, and obviously caught the editor's attention when deciding to show what pieces of this interview to show. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they want it isn't just the voice of the people being interviewed Like the way when we see these interview clips, it's also the voice of the people who edited it, right?
Yeah, like
they
it
want
was
you to
interesting
see,
that they put together some different
they
things
want
through
you to
the
see
different festival circuit that they had done before
Yeah,
and stuff
so
like that. Whereas
they
the
found
other
it-
one was a sit-down interview that they had produced. It was interesting, the two different methods they used for both of them. And it's too bad they didn't get nominated for anything because they've been promoting the heck out of their movies. They promoted that. They promoted the Princess Kagura.
Was TIFF their qualifying screening?
I don't. Well, no, because remember they have to show it in LA County for a certain amount of time and stuff like that. So that's what qualifies.
And that's why.
But they started with TIFF because that's where a lot of the Oscar movies now are starting out to get that buzz and stuff like that with the voters. So it's about the voters.
Well, that's Japan's fault then.
How so?
Because I'm sure G-Kids, if they had any opportunity to play that in December, they would have to get it nominated.
Pretty sure they did. I mean, they must have.
They did do the qualifying swing
I
in
don't
LA
think-
and stuff like that.
Did they actually? Because
They have to actually do a
Because
qualifying
they
in LA
may not,
County
they
for
may
a
not
certain
have done the
week.
qualifying
No,
screening.
it's in the rules. They have to.
It's
No, I mean
rules.
they may not have
Done it?
They may not have even screened it before January, which then means it can't count for
That's
last
true.
year, and then it could
true.
count for this, like the next year.
Okay.
They're saying Oscars is very disappointing this year.
Because if
Well, hashtag Oscars so blank, right?
It's over,
because
I
if
guess.
G-Kids wanted to put it out early, they would have loved to have put it out
What
early.
about the Golden Globes, Mo? Did you
Okay.
enjoy our British friend?
Oh, man. He should host everything. Why doesn't he just host everything? He should just host all of everything.
He's become this generation.
I just don't care.
This
I just don't care. He's drinking.
I'm drinking my pint
Is
here
it-
and I just don't care.
Is it?
I don't care.
Well, just quickly, has Ricky Gervais sort of become this generation's Billy Crystal? Because I remember,
Oh, man, in a way.
because you make that joke. He should host every show. That's That's also a line from The Simpsons.
Billy Crystal used to host a ton of stuff back in the day. Wow, that's so true.
Like it's sort of like
Swear to God,
it's sort of like the Simpsons reference, right?
if Joker wins, I will be pissed off.
Dude, if Joker wins, LA's gonna burn. Guaranteed, 100%. It's just gonna ignite into
I
fire.
have to see it still.
You
Okay.
haven't seen it yet, man?
Not yet. Okay, so
I'm not. I don't want to spend
Let's-
money on that film.
okay, I'll end off let me end it off the Shinkai notes and I guess almost the episode. Two other things on let me just look at my notes one more time. Oh, okay. Technical note, a technical note brought up in the interview, and then an almost philosophical note, but which kind of comes back to Radwimps again, because everything seems to come back to Radwimps. The technical note was on rain. The depiction of rain, because that was
the
so
one fight
amazingly
scene
detailed,
and stuff like that. Yeah,
amazing detail with the use of rain, which went against everything, or at least what to this point hold dear about the depiction of things like certain weather in anime. Because remember, there used to be one of the beauties one of the great beauties of anime was it tried to be kind of minimalist in the depiction of, say, something like wind. You don't try and see, say, a wind in a grass field. Instead of trying to see, going into every minute detail of seeing every blade of grass flying by, you just see a ripple across the field.
But he hadn't done that before because Garden with Words had rain and stuff like that. But he definitely took it to another level.
He took
As
it to
he
another
said,
level.
They talk about the fight and showing
and
all the different aspects
here
within
you have-
the rain.
yeah.
And you see that, and then you think back to what you saw, and you're like, wow,
Yeah,
there's
this
a
is
lot more
detailed.
detail than
No,
I
this is a
actually
lot more
envisioned
detailed.
saw originally because you don't think about it, right?
And Shinkai goes completely opposite of that, especially with something like rain. Because right, like I said, showed every drop, showed the reflection of every drop. The puddles showed showed the reflections, and he talked about how technically demanding it is to do rain because of for various reasons. And I was really impressed with the way he talked about that. That's a technical one, but it also now leads me to the philosophical part, which is, in many ways, coming soon. Yeah. In many ways, he started to address the comparisons with Miyazaki for the first. And I think I don't recall how many times he's him really talking in detail about the comparison, but he sort of did. It was the first time I could recall him talking about it for more than a few minutes. Remember the example I just made about a ripple in a field?
Uh-huh.
I sort of got that from a Studio Ghibli film.
I can see it.
And then you get Makoto Shinkai, who does every little raindrop. And then talked about, his stylistic differences with Miyazaki. More use of rock music instead of orchestra type music. And coming back to Radwimps. But he is trying to, and I respected that. It's just like I know, I get it. He's to make the comparison, calling him the next Miyazaki is probably unfair. And I think you have to set your own pace, your own path. And I thought the way he addressed it was, well done. And it just that was something that caught my attention when he talked about it in that sense. Just me, I guess. What the hell do I know, right?
Well, he did force Miyazaki out of retirement. Again.
I had to see that documentary, the 4-part NHK documentary, if that's still there. 10 years with Miyazaki or something. I don't know if that's still there. I should check. And
now he has no studio to help him. He has to do his new movie. He has to do the bulk of that movie on his own.
Oh yeah, because Comics has him.
Because he can't have that young whippersnapper upstart him.
That's the interesting part. Well, okay, let's end off on this. Let's end off with that. Do you think Miyazaki is a grumpy character, a grumpy old man?
Yes.
I haven't seen the documentary, and I get the feeling
documentaries.
Have you seen it? Have you seen the documentary?
There's a few documentaries. Because has released one too.
Yeah, the Kingdom of Dreams and Madness.
And there's another one on Blu-ray with him and stuff like that.
There was a documentary on NHK that aired over the last year.
There are the 2 book releases as well that he wrote, which is kind of gives you very much insight into him.
Well, also, after Kaguya came out, he's like, well, shit. That was definitely better than my last film, so I also have to make another film now.
Yes, it is still there. 10 Years with Hayao Miyazaki is still on the NHK World website. We got about a guy who actually spent that, documented him over that period, around, I think, the time Ponyo came out. But, maybe that I should watch that, because I'm just curious.
Poor Goro, oh my gosh, I feel bad for the man.
His son. Okay. But I thought, that was just the last thing that stuck out from that interview. I want to watch it again, and I really do hope that's included as an Easter egg in the Blu-ray. Okay, so that's as much as I want to talk about it in terms of Ghibli, and we're at the 43-minute mark. I don't think we can go too much longer.
Oh, well, that's up to you, really.
Oh, yes, but I don't think... I probably wouldn't be...
Time is just a relative thing. Come on,
Oh, yeah,
guys.
it is. Okay.
I miss those 2-hour podcasts.
3 hours.
We don't want to get there. We don't want to get there.
See, I have manga machinations for my 3-hour podcast now. That's not even a slight on them. I actually revel listening to podcasts for that long.
Well, okay.
Nice drive, right?
Nice try. Okay. I'll talk about my current podcast of choice just later on. Okay, so let's talk G-Kids. Because G-Kids have been really out there these days, at least putting stuff in theaters. With theaters becoming... I don't know, there's issues with them, obviously, with the I'm thinking the Netflix effect, or any possible Netflix and streaming effects.
But they definitely, once they picked up the Ghibli library and stuff like that, if you want to say that, because they had the last few, and then I guess they built up the relationship that they could have that catalog and start doing the showings that way, and were able to get that cachet that they've now gotten some different films and that.
They have all of them except for the one.
Because they got Promare, they got Weathering with You, and that's going to be a good release for them this year for both of those. Yeah. And they're still I forget what they were premiering at Weathering with You. It was another one coming in February. It was like a surfer
which is from...
It's Ride Your Wave.
Ride Your Wave.
Which is from the producers of The Night is Young, Walk On Girl or something like that.
Yeah, Blue Over the Wall,
I want to see
that.
Ping Pong. I want to see Walk On Girl too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I missed out on that one.
I really want to see that.
Tommy Galaxy.
I should have asked you to... I should have put that in the order. Oh, by the way, thank you.
I think they have a novel for that too. So yeah.
In my right hand is a copy of the Kimagori Orange Road OAVs on Blu-ray. Okay. Thanks, Kevin, for getting that for me.
You're welcome.
Checks in the mail. Checks already. Cash is already in the wallet. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Even better than the cash we usually pay with too, right?
Yeah. But it's all in one color. So there's. So yeah, G-Kids is just they're just getting into theaters. We're seeing a lot more. And I think that might be a highlight for me. What comes out from 2019.
And their story was they started off with the New York Children's Film Festival and stuff like that, doing animation and promoting it and stuff like that. Then they started getting some of their movies, and they were into the more art houses. Like they got stuff into TIFF Lightbox and stuff like that. Because I remember watching Ocean Waves. That's how it came out. Was you could only see it through there.
That was how it finally came out.
And now we're finally seeing these other films.
That's still to me the hidden gem.
But thinking about G-Kids, another one, and we were talking about Kevin, is some Millennium Actress is on that, but they already announced Tokyo Godfathers is screening in March, so that'll be great, and that'll finally be out on Blu-ray.
And I already sold my DVD for it once I heard that announcement.
Now we just need to figure out something for Paranoia Agent. I don't know.
Cool.
But
it's going to force me to sell my Paranoia Agent DVD.
Well, I don't know who's going to get that, but yeah, it's...
Yeah, I think that'll be a bit of a different one.
Actually, thinking of crazy things, did you hear about Rose of Versailles finally coming out and stuff like that from Udon?
The manga, yeah.
And the crazy expensive hardbacks?
Yeah, took them long enough.
Okay, Mo, you want to say something?
No. I'm enjoying this back and forth. It's like a tennis match.
Well, it's fine because they announced it so long ago, and they said the reason that they did the way they did is they wanted to get all the translation done, approved, and in a certain way, then release it, but they still delayed it, which is funny.
It's because Ryoko Ikeda is a pain in the ass to deal with.
But I remember you were looking forward to it, and now it's like, nah, I don't want to get this expensive.
Two of the most, two authors that are a pain to deal with, I hear, are Naoko Takeuchi and Ryoko Ikeda.
Some of the two noteworthy titles, Sailor Moon and Rose of Versailles.
And it's funny how right when the manga is about to come out, the anime now goes out of print because that license only lasted so long. Right Stuff doesn't have the license to it anymore.
Oh yeah, Rose of Versailles. That got fire sailed.
They lost that, and they lost Maria, and Maria's now with Sentai.
Yeah, that's interesting.
This goes on and
but it's interesting we were talking because, thinking of Right Stuff, I finally got my Aria Kickstarter stuff like that, and it's looking good.
Oh yeah, okay.
It just took a long time to get to us international backers. That's all.
Gonna sell those old DVDs pennies on the dollar. In my case,
I sold mine years ago, but if I'm not mistaken, Tokyo Pop is putting Aria out again.
No, I am supporting, and this time it's actually going to finish. We have the solicitations for the final volume. It's going to happen this time. Gonna happen, guaranteed. I will pay you money, I guarantee, because I got those last two.
See, it's the only other manga that's been relicensed and re-released this much or this often is probably Crayon Shin-chan.
Probably that. But the funnier thing about Aria and stuff like that is they had that announcement. I think it was either San Diego Comic-Con or Anime Expo last year with Stu Levy and that. And so this version they're putting out is a special edition, that omnibus that they put out in Japan, stuff like that. Aria, the masterpiece. So it's looking great, everything. And they announced, on top of this, we're going to have a special edition. And you're like, what the fuck? This is already the special edition of Aria and Omnibus that you're releasing. So how can you get even more special?
Because I did love Aria. I watched almost all of the anime for that.
But yeah, no.
That's still available.
For which?
The manga.
Yeah, the manga is coming out. Okay. You know what I mean? But yeah, you can still easily get these new ones, and it's quite good, stuff like that. Everything is
Okay. Well, now I know what you two are looking forward to.
But I would wait for a sale if you want to pay in Canadian dollars.
Yeah.
And so the last volume's probably going to be out. Number 7 is going to be out in September. And basically, it's like you have Aqua as volume 1, so that's 2 volumes in that. And then 6 volumes times 2 of Aria. So that's the 12 volumes right there. And they have color pages and all sorts of things that weren't there before. So it is quite nice going through it.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to that Maison Ikoku manga re-release.
Oh, yeah.
Which Never thought that would ever happen, but
well, they
it is
were
actually
doing
decided.
Ursa Yatsura or whatever.
And the pressure's on for me to sell my copies of the original unflipped release of the manga.
Well, actually, you know what? That makes me think I gotta sell my one copy, the flipped version of Walking Man, because I ended up getting the new version, which I found out is the original orientation. You got color pages, you got extra stories, and you got color pages.
Is that like one of those like Ryokichi Ikigami releases?
No. That's Jiro Taniguchi.
Taniguchi
or whatever.
Oh, that dude.
Ponmane.
Yeah, Ponmane. Yeah.
And it's crazy that they haven't done the proper version orientation with the sound effects, which there aren't many of.
Yeah,
in the
I'm
original
not surprised. Like, I still refuse to read Blade of the Immortal until they finally unflip that. God knows when that'll ever happen.
Well, I decided to get the omnibus of that because I did enjoy it, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Yeah. But it's weird. They're going through Berserk and Hellsing again with a crazy premium release on those ones.
Well, but apparently with Berserk, they didn't go back and retouch any of that stuff. It's just the same release.
I think actually there was a bit of retouching. You actually have translated sound effects, and hopefully for that Hellsing, they'll actually translate the sound effects because they were in that thing.
Okay, we'll see how it goes.
Technical stuff, right? The technical manga stuff. I'm so not keeping up. I mean, the best I can say in terms of Maison Koku is I have the flipped version.
Oh, geez.
Anybody interested?
Those?
I have those, yeah.
You'd be surprised. I have a buddy that he actually found like multiple copies of the old flip Battle Angel Alita, and those apparently he sold those for a pretty penny.
I have the whole series. I have the whole Maison Koku. Anyone interested?
Just wait till they release a movie about it.
Yeah. And yes, I do have the second release too.
Yeah.
So, which I know you're agonizing over. So that's almost it, I suppose. I mean, this is the idea behind doing this episode was just to get ourselves talking again.
Get our feet wet.
I thought it was to get Mo into the studio because we found him after all this time.
Yeah, that helped too. But the thing is, we didn't assemble it properly. We just have the single Yeti mic that we used for the Fred Schodt interview. And on that note, Fred's probably not going to be listening to this.
Why not?
Why would he? Really, nobody listens to this. But best wishes
for you people out there who are listening, please tweet at us
at Anime Roundtable. Back in November, we found out Fred Schodt got into a motorcycle accident and broke a couple ribs.
Oh no!
He's fine. He survived. He's happy to be alive. Having briefly messaged him not too long after. But I thought we'd send our best wishes. Hope he's recovering well enough. He's put up a couple on his Facebook at least. I know he's put up a couple of interesting articles. The one that caught my attention was a retrospective as to why ebooks haven't done as well as people thought. The last decade was referred to as the decade of the ebook, and there was this long article that he put up that explained what the hell happened.
People buy ebooks?
I do sometimes still. Yeah, I do. I admit I do, and we talked about it during the interview a little bit, if you remember, James.
And in the manga sphere, it's like especially Kodansha Advance, which is now Kodansha Advance, Kodansha USA, and Vertical are now one company.
Yeah, they're folding Vertical into it.
But all those longer releases that it's like, oh, we can't release this because of cost and all that. Okay, we'll make it honest. Still too intensive because 20 volumes or 10 volumes or whatever. So now it's like they've been put to the digital sphere, as they say, because that's how they saved Domestic Girlfriend and Space Brothers and other ones.
The Drops of God.
Yeah.
Yep.
And all those canceled Del Rey manga from
Suzuka and
School Rumble.
Nodame Kataba.
And School Rumble, yeah.
So
that's
why Chifer is even coming out now.
Yeah, but I thought an interesting read, and maybe for sure if I find it again, I'll put it up maybe in the links.
Show notes, yeah.
In the show notes, of course.
We do have show notes, guys, you know.
Yeah, a few notes. Still got a lot of work to do, but as I said, it's good to be back after to do something after 3 months, and hopefully we'll be a little bit more extensive this year in the lead up to the stuff that happens later this year, like Anime North. But it's just good to be off and running again.
Yeah.
Yeah, albeit in the makeshift format, right? just want to see what it would be like to do an episode. Well, as I said, I was just too lazy to put up the board. And
I thought we wanted to start the decade on the right foot. That's why we were waiting.
Well, we have to start the decade. Well, part of the change is also being a bit nimble too. We experimented with the Yeti mic for that special, and as I said, we're just doing it for now because for lack of doing anything else right now, because we haven't done anything. It was just.
Well, there hasn't really been anything.
Yeah, that too. Right, Mo? Tell me what you're looking up later. Oh,
Mo's too big of a star now for us. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
One nanosecond of fame.
One nanosecond.
Man, it went straight to my head.
Well, as I said, you looked really mature in that. Must have been the makeup.
And because I don't think we'll do another podcast before Ride Your Wave comes out, it's February 19th.
Okay.
In Canada. I think it's the 14th in the US.
Okay. The follow-up to from the producers of The Night is Young, Walk On Girl.
Yes. Masaki Yuasa is finally getting the recognition he deserves, and this will be his newest thing. So give it a shot.
Hopefully there'll be some list. Hopefully there'll be listings that, well, more than one theater in the GTA,
Well, there's a
couple. and maybe at least
It'll
a week.
be the
right?
same suspects.
Yeah.
The same suspects of theaters that they always do.
Winston and Young done this for those in the...
If you look
If
at
we're
a
lucky,
lot of
Vaughn,
them, the
yeah.
events for anime are at
Fingers
basically
crossed,
the
right?
same theaters
Young
across
Young
Canada.
Young
And it's
Young
because
yeah.
they know, okay, these theaters have this space and we can get enough people. Like Winston Churchill for us is probably getting a lot of people from Niagara and Hamilton because that's the furthest
For
west,
us,
it looks like.
sometimes, yes. But I think was there any showings of Weathering with You in Hamilton?
I couldn't see the...
Barrie?
There might... Yeah,
They were in Barrie.
They might have
Oh, there was in
expanded-
Niagara. There was in Niagara, like
might-
Niagara
Oh,
Square.
okay.
Yeah, they might have
was listed in
expanded when the
Niagara Square.
general screens
So
went
hold
out.
on, if you
Okay.
live in Niagara and you wanted to see, you have to go all the way to Winston Churchill.
Well,
Yeah, for some of the smaller screens, most of the-
but I think Weathering with You was in at a Cineplex in Niagara.
Yeah, Weathering
So-
had a more general release
Guelph,
compared to other
Barrie.
theaters.
Yeah, so it's possible and worth a check out if you have the time.
If you live in Barrie and Guelph. And
Sure,
Toronto. Yeah.
good places. I don't think they're bad places.
No, absolutely not.
So
It was a lot more than when we went to see The Irishman.
Oh,
That was an experience seeing that in the theater. And I went to one.
Isn't that movie... Wait, how long was that movie?
6.5 years.
Was it 3 hours long?
I think
6.5
it
years.
Was, it was like, no,
Six
I
and a
think
half
it was
years.
just over 3 hours when we sat through it and all that. And it was like at a Cinestars, so it was like in this basement, gritty basement movie
I know
theater
that one. It
at
was
Central.
Saga, right?
Yeah, in
Yeah.
Central Parkway.
That was nice.
Because they started out in TIFF like box, and then they said, okay, we'll give it to whatever small theaters. So, but it was an interesting experience.
we're about an hour in now. That's 15 minutes than I intended. So let's call it a round table, okay?
Well, we know how we usually go, right, Mike? We aim low, go high.
We aim low, go high. Hopefully the next time we talk isn't more than a month from now. So hopefully we'll be able to talk again sometime in February.
We hope so too, Mike.
Yes,
How about this? We'll reconvene before the Blue Jays play again.
that's a good bar. That's a
And then
realistic goal.
if you don't know when the Blue Jays play again, well, then you got some homework.
We'll talk then. We'll talk then too. Okay.
Are you saying spring training or regular season?
Regular season.
Play ball. Anyway, that's it. Good night from Toronto.